Hi, my name is Kayla Keith, and you're listening to Missing Midwest, a true crime podcast about those that have gone missing. Today's story is about a little girl who walked to school but never made it inside. Questionable parents, a suspicious bystander, and DNA tests. We are still waiting for Alexis Patterson to come home. This is Missing Midwest, and someone knows something. Hello.
Hey.
We're back.
Yep.
Episode, I don't even know. We're over
23,
30.
I think?
No, we're over 30. Oh, well, with
Including
Murdered
Murder
Midwest.
Miss, yeah.
With Murdered Midwest. 23 of
For Missing
Midwest. And we just did episode 10 yesterday
Yep.
of Murdered Midwest.
10 bonus episodes and the exclusive content.
Why aren't you subscribed to the bonus content?
Just
because
go get
that's
'em.
10 episodes and it's $10. That's less than $1. It's $1 an episode.
Yeah. And then we're going to have more come out this month. For sure.
Do it. Please.
4 more coming here in December.
Anything you want to announce? I'm sure you do.
I did. I do have stuff I would like to announce. If you're thinking about getting some Missing Midwest swag for Christmas as a gift, or if you want somebody to get you some Missing Midwest merch for Christmas.
Hint. Drop those hints. Drop those links.
Those orders need to be in by December 6th.
Okay.
So if you order it by December 6th from our website, which is you can find it on our Instagram or our Facebook page or whatever. If you want it delivered by Christmas, order by December 6th.
Okay.
And that's really my only announcement since we already talked about the bonus episodes, the bonus content.
Wow, that's all you have?
Yeah.
That's really
I would like to say, again, as we've talked about this as a potential gift, the bonus content, it's something that I got for Kayla a long time ago. I got her a $10 subscription to Crime Junkies Patreon as a Christmas gift, and we still have it. Gift that keeps on giving. But if you decide to go ahead and get that as a gift for somebody you love, it's $10 a month. We're going to send you some stickers. We're going to send you a nice little postcard from us. Kayla likes to make these pretty little backgrounds for your phone and all that good stuff. And we're going to give some shout outs on December 23rd to anybody that is a subscriber of
I had some new ones
Murder
this
Midwest.
week. I had Bridget Reed, Andrea Grove, Tara Hamilton, Terry Turner joined us this week.
Welcome.
So welcome. We'll see you over on Murdered Midwest.
Helps us grow.
There's no more locked on those episodes for you. You can just listen to them.
Right?
Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
Anything else? Anything special happening in our lives that we need to talk about?
I'm ready to find out if this baby's a boy or a girl. We just found out that's going to be probably a week or two longer than we thought.
Yeah.
Not excited about the delay.
We're still hoping we can find out. I might have to be switching doctors, and if I do, we won't find out when we thought we did, but
it's coming up.
I think it's a boy.
I think it's a girl.
Well, we'll see.
Yep.
We can't decide on a name, so I think we should just let everybody else pick.
Whoa.
Can't be a killer. Cannot be a killer that we've talked about. And can't be... I don't know, do you have any other stipulations for names?
Yeah, how about I get to pick the name? That's my stipulation. I'll let you have input.
You're no fun.
Sorry, guys. I'm not leaving it up to people I don't know to pick the name.
Suggestions. Open.
We'll listen to suggestions.
You know what's stressful? Buying and selling a house. Just over a year ago, we were in the middle of the process and it was overwhelming. I am so thankful that we had someone like Amber to guide us through the process. She knew what to do and when to do it. You were so concerned about pricing and loans, and I was just concerned with the colors and the layout. Oh, you remember that?
Yes. Amber kept everything in mind, and we are in our dream house because of her. If you are looking to buy or sell in or around the Howard County area, you have to give Amber a call, or you can just give her a text, 765-865-1118.
You can follow her on Facebook at Amber White, Realtor/Broker with Carrie Gruhl & Associates. She posts the latest listings, giveaways, and even helpful home tips.
We are so grateful for Amber and all her help.
Anything else?
I'm ready to rock. Let's talk about this case.
Okay.
It's a crazy one.
Okay. In May of 2021, the FBI conducted an audit of a bunch of different offices across the U.S. And their cold cases that they have of missing people. And they got a list together, and they came up with 43 specific cases that they believe are solvable. They believe that they have the information or are very, very close to the information, or somebody knows something that is going to help them solve those cases. And so several of them are in the Midwest. And so we're going to start featuring them in different episodes. So I'll let you know if it was one of the FBI lists when we do it. And this one is. This one, the FBI is focused on this case. They said that it has the potential to be solved. And so they believe what we believe, that someone knows something. So we are going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't think we've been there.
I don't think so.
I mean, like, we've not done a case there. I've also never been there.
Yeah, physically we've never been
physically
there, but I
I've
don't
never
think
been
we've had any cases in Milwaukee either.
I really like that name, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
What if we named the baby Milwaukee?
I'm
Population 570,000 people. I think that's the biggest city that I've covered so far.
I mean, Chicago's bigger.
Oh,
We have one
I
in
did in
Chicago.
Chicago.
But, yeah, I mean, Milwaukee's a big city. It's not our small
lied.
town ones.
I was say they only have $5 generals though.
I was surprised by
We
that.
we could hit all those in a day. Johnny and I went on a date the other night.
This is a true story.
This is true. We went on a date the other night in Kokomo, and we went out to eat, and then we went to 2 different Dollar Generals.
2 different Dollar Generals.
We went to the first one.
Was a necessity for something for the shop.
Yeah, I needed something, and I needed a couple things for the house. And then on the way home, I was like, oh, look, let's stop at this Dollar General because they probably have completely different things. And then they didn't have what we needed, but we got more stuff that we didn't even go there for. So
Yeah, we definitely.
if you're
got
wondering
irresponsible with the Dollar
how
Generals.
much I really like Dollar General, it's a lot. I don't know why they're not sponsoring us yet. Anyway, so for this story, we're going back to May of 2002. I would have been in 3rd grade.
I would have been in 4th.
I was 9 years old. I just turned 9 in March. Alexis Patterson was 7. She attended High Mount Community School and was in 1st grade. Alexis was described as bubbly and bright. She has a huge smile on all of her pictures. She's stinking cute. You can just tell by looking at her that she was a fun little girl to be around with a huge personality. I'll post a picture of her. She looks ornery. She's adorable, but she looks like she's a good time. So on May 3rd, 2002, Alexis woke up at her home with her family, and they got ready for school. She realized that she had not done some of her homework. And let me just tell you, this happens in our house all the time. We tell Truman
Jeffrey Keith.
We tell him that it's his responsibility, and I check his folder, but I also suck at doing it, honestly. But we have this like whole process of making sure that we like get the homework done and everything, but it still slips through the cracks. And we get mad about it every single time. And Truman always has consequences like, oh, if you forgot your homework, you can't have any TV time when you get home or something like that. And so that's how it went with Alexis and her mom that morning. Her mom was ticked. Alexis's mother was named Anaya. Is that?
I think it's Ayana.
Ayana?
Looking at it? Yeah, Ayana.
Not even close to how I was going to say it. Ayana. She was upset. Alexis had gotten a cupcake, and she was going to take it to school that day for lunch. But since she got in trouble and didn't do her homework, her mom told her she wasn't allowed to take the cupcake to school that day. And Alexis was so sad about it, which, like, same. I really like cupcakes, so I get it. Her stepdad was named LaRon. He walked her to school that morning. He said that he walked her down the road to the crosswalk, which was across from the school. He watched her cross the crosswalk and then go into the playground. She crossed the playground. And so as she was crossing the playground, he turned around and he went back home. It was not later that day. We're at 4:00 that day. Not normal at all for Alexis to not be home by 4:00. By 5:00, her parents had called the police, and the search began by 6:00 that evening. So pretty quick here from the time they realized that, she wasn't home. The issue with that, usually, when you have a missing person, the quicker that you can get searching from the time they go missing, that's good. So when I read that, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. We expect her home by 4. By 5:00, we've called the police. The issue with that was, the school said Alexis never came that day. So she had actually been missing since that morning. So LaRon, when he saw her walking across the playground, he assumed she went into the school, because that's what, that's what she normally did. But the school official said Alexis was never in class that day, and they didn't contact the parents to let them know until after school had been dismissed. So we aren't getting as started as quickly as we thought. She's been gone for a while, not just an hour or so.
You said the school didn't call them until the end
Yeah,
of the day?
and so that sounds kind of like a red flag, but when they looked back on it, they said that Alexis had been late more than 20 times that school year. So they probably just didn't call in the morning because they thought she would show up sometime.
I mean, I'm a teacher, and I have a list of probably like 5 or 6 students that I'm supposed to take attendance by like 9:20.
Yeah.
And school starts at 9. I'm supposed to take attendance by 9:20. And if there's a few kids that if they aren't there yet, I hold off on taking attendance.
Well, you might
I'm
not
like,
hold off anymore because
they're
now
going to
you're
be
gonna
late.
worried.
They're going to be here. They're probably going to be late, and I'll do attendance when they get here. And honestly, because of that, on days when they actually don't come, which is rare,
Yeah.
but I forget to take attendance because I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take
don't do
attendance
that
when
anymore.
so-and-so shows up. And then if they don't show up, then I forget to take attendance. So, I mean, like, I see how that could happen, especially, I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
if she's
I'm
been
not
late
like,
that often.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not like throwing shade at the school.
plus,
like,
just in general, the day gets crazy after.
Truman's been sick before, and I've forgotten to call the school, and like nobody's called me, like noon, and I'm like, oh crap, I need to call the school and tell them Truman's not there. Like nobody's called me, so I don't think there's anything like going on with that. I just think it was probably an unfortunate oversight.
Sure.
So we have a lot of people here that saw Alexis, okay? And so this is where it gets confusing because you're dealing with kids here, and eyewitnesses are horrible, honestly, in every case that we talk about.
Generally,
they
is
suck.
only like half reliable.
If
And now you're talking
that.
about kids, so I can't even imagine
Yeah.
what they would say.
But there was one girl. So like I said, there's a lot of reports of kids saying they saw her after school. There's kids saying that they saw her on the playground before school. And there's even one girl who was a 6th grader said that she saw Alexis crying on the steps that morning outside of school. And she said she stopped and she asked her what was wrong. And Alexis told her the story about the cupcake. And the girl even offered to buy her a cupcake at the store after school because she was so sad about it. But Alexis said she just wanted the cupcake from her house. And that little girl, the 6th grader, said that Alexis got up and walked out of the schoolyard and didn't go into school. So Alexis's house was only 2 blocks away. So I don't know if she was just like, screw it, I'm going to go get my cupcake. It would have been possible for her to walk home. She knew the way. They walked to school every day, and typically she would walk by herself to school. I feel like a 6th grader is decently reliable, and that's a very specific
That's
story.
what I'm saying. Like to be like, oh, I saw her for sure. Like that's one thing to have.
That's what I'm thinking.
I
Like,
had
it's
this
pretty
interaction.
specific.
You know, like
It's
yeah.
a very specific story. Like, yeah. And so, I believe, at least that story makes me believe that she was like on school property.
Sure.
Like Laron said he saw her walk onto the playground. And then we have this 6th grade girl that said she literally had a conversation about this specific cupcake that we know was a big deal anyway. And we had other kids saying that they saw her on the playground that morning. But what we have an issue, I guess. Well, there's a lot of issues coming up. Okay. First issue is Laron. Dude's a messy dude. Okay. His story is messy. He's messy. Messy is probably a nice way to put it. He's like a hot freaking mess of a person. He told the police that he walked Alexis to school and that he drove their other son to the bus stop. But when police talked to his son, he said that they walked Alexis to school, but then his dad drove him to school, not to the bus stop. The bus driver also said that he didn't see Laron or his son that day. Like, it's not hard to say. Like, what the heck did you do? Why are you not having...
What is the point of that?
There's no point in that line, so maybe you just don't remember what the heck you did that morning. I don't know.
But also, like, did you drive your kid to school or did you not?
Exactly. You
That's
either
weird.
took him to the bus or you didn't. Why are you lying if you did? Like,
It's
annoying.
Really not remembering.
But then
that?
again, I sometimes don't remember crap if it's early. And also, it's easy to get your days confused when you do like the same things. Sometimes you drive them, sometimes you don't. I don't know.
I mean, I imagine they're probably talking to him.
I'm
like,
not gonna
the
put-
same day though, or the
Yeah.
next day. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like it's been the same day or the next
yesterday,
day.
did you drive your kid to school or did you drop him off
I
the
agree.
bus? Like,
Laron has quite the past, quite the criminal past. He was a known drug dealer. He was a known criminal. And like I said, he was kind of a trashy person. Trashy guy, slimy,
When you say drug dealer, how much? I mean, we talking about just like marijuana or?
We're talking hard stuff like this that you snort, like what's that? Cocaine.
Jeez.
I don't know my drugs. I'm not a drug dealer, Johnny. But not marijuana. Marijuana is the one that like doesn't everybody do that? But not everybody's snorting cocaine, and he was dealing like he was like a cocaine dealer. That was his thing. He dealt cocaine, not pills or marijuana. I guess it was like hard.
I mean, who knows? He probably diversified.
He probably,
if
yeah.
You're,
he
if you're
probably
involved in cocaine, that's some big stuff. I would
That's
imagine.
what I'm saying. You don't draw the line at cocaine. Like
Right.
I will not do anything else. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was other drugs involved, but he was known as like the local cocaine dealer, I guess, among the people that do cocaine. I don't know. So if the drugs weren't enough to like make you question like the kind of like quality of guy that we're dealing with here, he was also the getaway driver for a robbery that resulted in the death of a police officer. Once he was promised immunity, he gave up the gunman, and that gunman's now in prison for life, which to me also means you're just a really shitty friend too. Like, I mean, isn't there like some sort of code of conduct among drug dealers and stuff that you don't give each other up?
You would think, but also like I can't believe that he got off scot-free.
And was involved in the death of a police officer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that they would be giving immunity when you're dealing with the death of a police officer. I feel like they would have been like, nobody's getting immunity.
If you're like 100%, we got this guy, but we have no evidence. We need a witness or something. That's your only way.
Yeah.
If it's either you have him give him up or the guy goes free, like you would choose giving him immunity.
Probably. But
man,
still. Also, then you're definitely not a friend of the local policeman.
100%. Like you are.
They're like, oh, wait, what's your name?
Yeah.
Okay, so about a month before Alexis disappeared, Laurent's drug supplier, I mean, I guess that means like a
His
bigger
boss.
drug dealer.
Yeah.
His boss.
Laurent's the
He's
dealer.
the drug dealer, but then drug dealers have like bigger drug dealers, which are probably even scarier
It goes like
than
this.
Laurent.
It goes kingpin, supplier, drug dealer.
Kingpin?
Yes.
I thought that was a movie term.
It's not.
Oh.
It's a we kill your family kind of thing.
Seriously?
Dead serious.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, heck, I know what happened now. I mean, I had a theory,
Yeah.
but okay. Wait, so Kingpin is what?
Kingpin is like as high as it goes.
So, do you think when it said his drug supplier was the Kingpin? Or no, there's somebody...
Kingpin, supplier, drug dealer.
Oh, okay. So drug dealers are like the low of the low.
Yeah, you've never seen we got to watch
I know.
Breaking Bad.
I don't watch movies like
We need to watch Breaking Bad. Get you up to date on your drug
Okay, but I always thought that stuff wasn't actually real.
It's pretty real.
Okay. Well, okay then, never mind.
I don't know a lot about it, but I'm pretty confident
I
that
was
stuff's
learning
real.
stuff when I researched this case about drug dealers and suppliers, but I didn't know that I could like compare it to the words that I heard in movies. Okay, moving on. So Laurent's drug supplier fronted him 9 ounces of cocaine, valued at about $7,000. Holy crap. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
One of the suppliers associates like told this to the police and said like, listen, Laurent owed some money here. He owed some money to people. Laurent paid $1,900 of the $7,000 that he owed, and he promised to pay the rest after he sold the drugs. But not long after that, Laurent called the supplier and said that the cops had raided his house and they had to flush the drugs, and so he didn't have them anymore. The supplier was like not happy about this because he said, and he had told his associate that house had really bad plumbing and that toilet couldn't have handled such a large quantity of drugs. I don't know. I'm not a plumber. To me, 9 ounces doesn't seem. I'm thinking of like when I bake, like 9 ounces of flour. Like I could flush that. I don't know. So now we have LaRon telling his drug supplier, like, yeah, I can't pay you that rest of that money I owed you because I flushed your drugs. Also, is anybody going to believe a drug dealer that he flushed their drugs? Like he probably, I doubt. And also, I don't think that. I don't know. It doesn't seem likely story to me.
I just wouldn't trust anybody involved in the story.
Yes. So far, we're dealing with a lot of untrustworthy people here. So you can just pick and choose who you believe. So this associate told this to the police. So now we know that LaRon has some people mad at him. He owes some money to people. So the drug supplier asked his associate, gosh, you're right. There's so many like words in here that I've heard in movies that I didn't think were real. He was certain that LaRon had lied about the drugs and was just trying to rip him off. And so he made a comment to his associate and was like, can I just shoot him? And so the associate told police like, hey, he wanted
just
to kill
so you
him.
know,
like, yeah.
People wanted him dead.
On May 1st, yeah, so people were not happy, and we've already talked about, like, shooting LaRon. On May 1st, 2002, which was 2 days before Alexis was last seen, a group of men with guns confronted LaRon in his home.
Wait a minute here. So
I'm telling you, this whole story does sound like a movie plot that is not true, but apparently the whole drug scene is very accurate to the movies because like men with guns and suppliers and my associate and all of this stuff. It
so
just
they
sounds
like,
so.
Came to his house.
Showed up to his house, and a neighbor told police that he heard one of them yell, "I'm gonna kill you all."
That's a threat.
2 days before his daughter or his stepdaughter
would
be considered the people in the house.
Alexis.
I would assume, yeah. So this argument that they had, which it said an argument went outside. I'm like, I don't argue with people with guns, but apparently LaRon was arguing with them, and it went outside. And the neighbor said she heard the man threaten revenge, and that he yelled, and he was yelling, and he said that he was tired of LaRon and the mom, not Ayana. I can never remember how to say her name. He was tired of LaRon and Ayana setting people up, and then he yelled, "I'm gonna get you where it hurts."
Big yikes!
Yeah,
this is 2 days before.
2 days before.
Oh my gosh!
Somebody threatened, "I'm gonna get you where it hurts."
And this was like a neighbor.
A neighbor. Yeah, they said the argument, like they were yelling, it was loud, and then they went outside, and yeah. After that, the neighbor said that all these men jumped into 2 trucks and sped off with their guns. It seriously sounds like such a movie. Like
big yikes. Yeah, I mean that's.
There was one report by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel that stated that one of LaRon's suppliers had stopped by the morning of Alexis's disappearance. Stopped by the house the morning that she went missing. So in the months following her disappearance, 5 different people, like a whole hand of people here, told police that the drug supplier, okay, first, these aren't trustworthy people. All of these people were in jail, okay, or prison. So we're dealing with prisoners telling the police things.
Still 5?
That's what I'm saying. So like, I don't know how many, I would say like, if one person told me something, I'm like, whatever. If 2 people tell me, I start to believe it. I'm probably going to need at least 3 of them. If they're all in jail, I'll probably need like 3 of them to tell me the same thing before I start to believe it. But we're up to 5 people in jail saying like the same story or versions of the same story. But all 5 of them reported to police that the drug supplier had abducted Alexis because LaRon stole from him. Like I said, all of them were in jail, so they were probably trying to like get out of their own legal trouble or get some sort of exchange or like a lesser sentence. But like 3 of the men said they spoke to the supplier directly.
Wow.
So like all of these stories have to have some sort of like truthness to them, I guess. One informant said that LaRon had ripped off not only the supplier, but the supplier above him, which would have been, what'd you say?
The kingpin.
Okay. So they said that LaRon owed the 2 of them, so his supplier and his supplier's supplier, $80,000 between the 2 of them.
Why is anybody trusting LaRon with $80,000 of
I don't
stuff?
know. Maybe he was doing a good job dealing up until then, Johnny.
Oh,
I don't know.
Apparently, I would say he had to have been.
They trusted him for something. I don't know. But yeah, so like he's not only like pissed off his supplier, we're like at the supplier now. We're just moving up the ladder, just
Good
ticking
grief.
everybody off. So this informant said that like I said, he had said, this is the one informant that said he had ripped off not just
like
his supplier, but his own supplier.
jailhouse informant here, like a guy in jail getting all this.
Yeah, all of these 5 people were in jail.
When you say informant, that makes me think somebody like working for the police. Isn't like
Yeah, he was like it was a jail. It was an informant, but
so
like I said,
5 prisoners,
5
and a jailhouse
prisoners
informant.
and an informant. I don't know if the informant was one of the 5. But regardless, we have 5
He's
people
probably talking to the 5.
We have 5 people like telling some form of the same story.
Goodness.
One of them was was an informant for the police though, and he had said that he's ticked off this guy, and he owes $80,000 here, and he said that they took Alexis down south, and that she was being held and taken care of by one of the supplier's sisters.
Wow.
Which also, what kind of sister? Just your brother shows up with a kid and is like, I need you to take care of this kid for me. Don't ask any questions.
The family.
What?
The family.
I don't know what
it's not
movie
like
that is, but okay.
The mob talks the family.
It is. It sounds like some form of mob that's going on here. A very big drug ring. Another inmate stated that the drug supplier had kidnapped Alexis and gave LaRon 5 days to pay him back, and when he didn't, they killed her and buried her near St. Vincent High School. He claimed he saw the whole thing, said he was there and saw it. All of this was told to a jailhouse informant. There is no report of police believing this to be a credible lead, though, and like no report of them ever like going and digging at that location or even interviewing the prisoner who allegedly said these things.
I mean,
so I don't know why
he
they
said he
wouldn't have followed
saw the
up
whole
on
thing.
that. He said he was there. I feel like they should have asked a few questions.
I mean,
but apparently
you
they
could
didn't.
be like, I heard this is what happened to her, but saying I saw this happen to her,
Yeah.
like that sounds like a completely, that warrants a completely different investigation, I would say.
Want to know what one of the best decisions I have made for myself lately is? Stanley Cleaning Company. In this season of life we are in, with kids, practices, jobs, and pregnancy, it just makes sense to have a little extra help, and in turn, a little extra time. Christine comes to my house every other week and sweeps and mops for me, and I am not kidding when I say it is the best. She leaves my home smelling amazing and literally sparkling. We thrive in a clean environment as a family, and this service is the best thing I've ever spent my money on. It saves me time and energy, 2 things I'm greatly lacking lately. It can be a simple sweep and mop or a deep clean, home or office. It can be weekly or monthly. It's whatever you need. Plus, it's a local small biz, and I love supporting fellow business owners and entrepreneurs. Give her a call or text her and let her know what you want done. 765-860-3606. Okay, so basically we have this drug theory, okay, where LaRon is involved with all these sketchy people, and something happened because of something that LaRon did, okay?
We have 5 people saying
And we have
the supplier was involved.
It's very heavy, very plausible, okay? But then when you look into this case, a lot of the things you're going to see is blaming the mom, okay? So I'm going to switch. That was basically theory number 1. I'm going to switch over, and I'm going to tell you about Ayanna. Dang it. I'm going to tell you about Ayanna now, because there's some interesting things that go on with her. So you might be thinking, LaRon and the drug supplier over here, but
sounds like a pretty good theory to me.
I was going to say it is, but so is the next one, okay? I'll tell you what I think at the end, but we will talk about the mom now, okay? So shortly after Alexis disappeared, a lot of family members and friends started coming forward, claiming that there may have been some abuse going on. They saw Ayanna violently slap Alexis across the face numerous times. Her stepson even mentioned a whooping that Alexis got the morning of her disappearance. Ayanna denied this originally, but then later she did admit, saying that she knew it just wasn't going to look good at first. She made a public statement saying that she did not whoop Alexis that morning, that it was 2 days before that she really whooped Alexis. The same day, at 9:30, this is weird to me, okay? At 9:37 a.m. on the day that Alexis went missing, a call from their house was made to the local hospital. The caller hung up before anyone at the hospital answered. Later, when police asked Anaya about this, is it not Anaya?
𝒊𝒂𝒂.
𝒂𝒂. Okay. Later, when 𝒂𝒂 was questioned about this, she said that her baby, because she had a baby that was like a little baby, they said that she had a cough and she wanted to talk to her pediatrician, which to me is sketchy, because I don't believe that you call the hospital when you want to talk to your kid's pediatrician.
Also, like, you just decided I'm gonna call and then decided never
yeah,
mind.
like, okay, well, if you wanted to call the pediatrician, why did you freaking hang up? Like, your kid was sick. The afternoon of the disappearance, a neighbor and her sister stopped by to see 𝒂𝒂 and the baby, and the neighbor told police that 𝒂𝒂 barely let them inside the house and rushed them out onto the porch, and she said that 𝒂𝒂 admitted to giving Alexis a really bad whipping the night before. 2 weeks after Alexis went missing, the FBI behavioral analysis concluded that she was most likely the victim of an emotion-based homicide at the hands of her mother.
Whoa, the FBI said that?
So the FBI thinks that the mom killed this kid.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, the FBI is a lot smarter than me.
Right? So the FBI recommended that the Milwaukee police conduct a forensic analysis
Wow.
of the house and the outside of the house and everything.
I just feel like that's not a lightly
it's
made
not.
statement.
It's let me say it again. The FBI said that 𝒂𝒂 most likely killed her daughter,
and
Alexis,
they believe
in
this
an
so much
emotion-based
so
homicide.
that they were like, you need to conduct forensic analysis.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just told you all about these freaking drug dealers, and you're thinking, yeah, it's them. And now you're like, wait, the FBI is saying this. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we go from one extreme to another here.
Wow.
So they brought in a cadaver dog. These are the dogs. They're trained to give a signal. They bark. They scent down, whatever, when they detect the odor of human remains. In this case, the dog alerted on the trunk of the Laron's car and the basement.
Wait a minute here.
Yeah, if I was going to have to guess where the human remains would be in a house, it would be the trunk of the car in the basement. Investigators sprayed those areas with luminol. Luminol can reveal traces of blood and some other substances, bleach, blood, stuff like that. It lit up everywhere that the dog had hit.
So the trunk in the basement.
So the trunk and the basement, yes. Police swabbed it, but they did not find blood. But that doesn't mean blood wasn't there. It could have been bleach that was used to clean up blood.
Goodness.
In June of 2002, one of 𝒂𝒂's friends said that she overheard a telephone call between 𝒂𝒂 and her mother, according to an account she gave police later that year. Okay. The friend who was at the mother's house picked up the extension and listened to the conversation between the mom and 𝒂𝒂.
Like, I mean, don't be that friend, but nobody uses landlines anymore, I guess.
If I could pick up a landline and listen to conversations, I'd be doing it all the time.
That's
You'd
weird.
have to be listening to me on the other end because I would be so nosy. At one point, the mother told 𝒂𝒂, "You should never have whipped Alexis." 𝒂𝒂, I've called this woman every name but her own name.
Her name is 𝒂𝒂.
𝒂𝒂 allegedly, according to the friend, replied with, "I whipped her and she didn't get back up."
Whoa.
The mother became angry and threw the phone, the friend said.
That's a massive
quite-
accusation.
That is quite an accusation right there.
I mean, like, we talked about this in recent cases.
I know.
Like, you would have to, like,
I know.
either that would have to be true or you would have to, like, have a next level hate towards that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
That one was rough. I mean, yeah. And that's also a very specific story.
Yeah.
Like, she said that she whipped her and didn't get back up, and then the mom became so angry she threw the phone. Like, you don't throw that in there unless it, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
It had to happen that way.
yeah.
In August of 2002, a detective witnessed 𝒂𝒂 losing her temper after he stopped by a hair salon. Okay, so there was like a hair salon candy store that 𝒂𝒂 and Laron opened together.
Oh, okay.
Which, if Laron is involved, I would be
I was
very,
gonna say,
very.
What kind of candy did
I
they
would
have
be
there?
very uncertain about buying the candy, and also I would like to see the taxes from that store because I bet there was some serious. What is it in Breaking Bad?
Laundering, money laundering.
Oh, was it a car wash?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, car wash, candy store, same thing. Anyway, apparently the detective witnessed 𝒂𝒂. He stopped by this place of business, and he witnessed 𝒂𝒂 losing her temper. She believed that police were not trying to find her daughter and became completely enraged. The detective's report says that she was clenching her fists, knocking over the candy, and she threw a fan at the wall and said, quote, she would put a knife in someone's throat, not to their throat, in it. A quote from a reporter says, 𝒊𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 again stated that people should understand not to upset her and that when they do, someone will get hurt.
What not to say.
There's some two threats going on.
What not
there.
to say to
A reporter or a police officer?
or a detective when your daughter's missing.
Yeah. So investigators also were told that 𝒊𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 had failed to return a large duffel bag that she had borrowed from a friend. The woman told them the bag was large enough to hold a body. In an interview, 𝒊𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 said she borrowed a small tote bag. It was not a large duffel bag. What?
I mean,
it's so many little things that now I'm like, okay, LaRon deals drugs, but we have the mom over
if
here.
I let somebody borrow a duffel bag, I would like not think twice about it. But then if their kid went missing, I'd be like,
what did you use that duffel bag for?
can I get it? Can I have my duffel bag back? You can't find it? That's very sketchy to me.
Very. Listen up. If you're a small business owner like myself, you understand the value of time. There is always something to be done, and it's up to you to do it. Your business is your baby, and you rarely can trust others with it. But what if I told you that I had somebody that you can trust, someone that can save you time and help your business grow? I do. With Bo Digital, you have access to an entire team that will be there for you with marketing and advertising. It doesn't matter what the size of your budget or your business is. Bo can help you take the stress of marketing off your plate and free up your time to do more of the things you love to do with your business. Bo is a marketing company and a business partner, but my favorite thing about them is that they have become true friends. You can find out more about them and what they offer at bodigital.com. Take it from me and put a bow on it. So it just seems like there's a lot of people in or near this family that had a lot of reasons to suspect the family, and they weren't shy about coming forward with their accusations. I mean, how many accusations did I just read from people?
Seriously.
Like you said, if I let people borrow the duffel bag, I'd want it back. I'd be like,
Yeah.
What were you using that duffel bag for?
And I'd
Paul?"
100% tell the police. Like, hey, listen, I let this person borrow a duffel bag. They could hold a kid. Like, all these people, these little things that they're telling the police, that's what we talk about. Someone knows something.
Yeah. So the FBI is thinking the same thing because they got enough tips and enough, they profiled this case and they had enough tips and enough information that they came to the conclusion that the mom probably did this.
Wild.
And that theory was only strengthened every time 𝒊𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 talked to authorities because her story was just ever changing. At one point, she said Alexis had gotten in trouble because her teacher said she was talking to an unknown woman behind the school. She said that this happened twice. So the police obviously were like, okay, let's go talk to the teacher and figure out who this unknown woman was. Teacher's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, that never happened. She said, if that would have happened, I would have told the police if there was a strange woman talking to my students.
Yeah.
So it was just like another strange thing that this mom did. But the strangest interaction came in 2016. Okay, this is so freaking weird. I honestly don't know who to pick, the drug dealer, stepdad, or the crazy mom, because it's just getting worse. A tip came in from a man in Ohio claiming that his ex-wife could possibly be Alexis Patterson.
Whoa.
She had a scar under her right eye and a bump on her finger, which were two of the distinguishing marks that had been listed in the missing person report for Alexis.
Okay.
He said his ex-wife did not remember much from her childhood.
Wild.
And was unable to produce, like when they got married, there was certain documents that they needed and she didn't have them. And so the authorities were like, okay.
I mean, good on this guy.
Yeah, first of all, yes, that's great to recognize those things and to actually call.
Yeah.
Always call if you suspect something. But so authorities are like, okay, like this is compelling. And so they go to this woman, they find her, and they're like, hey, would you take a DNA test? And she agreed. Turns out it was just a coincidence. This woman in Ohio is not Alexis Patterson. The DNA did not match. Alexis would have been 21 at the time, and this woman said she was 28. So there was there was doubt before the DNA test because
but
of
how can you not try it?
So like the age discrepancy, but they're like, okay, weird past, distinguishing marks. We're going to try it. Everyone was like, worth a shot. Let's try it. Okay. The strange part with 𝒊𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒈 is 𝒊𝒊𝒔𝒊𝒂 saw this lady and was like, that's it. That's my daughter. And they were like, okay, well, we're going to do some DNA tests and we're going to, try. And she's like, nope, it's her. And they're like, oh, unfortunately, the DNA test came back. It's not Alexis. And she's like, no, it is. I want another DNA test. And they're like,
she asked for another DNA test?
Yeah. They're like, ma'am, no, like, it's not your daughter. And she was like, quoted, I just want the world to be awakened and know that I have found my daughter. Believe what I say when I say my baby is alive. And that's what I want the community to do. She wanted another DNA test, and they were like, no. This woman in Ohio is probably like, ma'am, please leave me alone. Like, I did the DNA test. I don't know who you are. Like, you're not my mom. Yeah. So she's still like, she's like, we don't need to look anymore. I found my daughter.
What?
So we have two theories here that I feel like both are extremely plausible and extremely compelling.
Yeah. I mean, when you started talking about the mom, I was like, yeah, good luck getting me to forget the 5 people that...
I know, right? Yeah, let's just recap here. Don't forget about LaRon. When I was telling you about him and his sketchy drug dealer friends, you all were thinking it was LaRon, but now you don't know, do you? I
don't know if I would say it was LaRon, but the people that he was involved with, I mean, that was a very plausible theory. I mean, like, I was convinced.
Yeah.
I don't...
So the only thing that Ayanna has going for her is she never stopped looking, and she was one of the biggest advocates in the search for her daughter. She held rallies and like pages and just like so much, so much movement for her daughter, and so much, I mean, I guess if you believe Ayanna is responsible, you're dismissing 5 different people that claimed to know that the drug supplier was involved. But then, so we have the one thing that Ayanna has going is that, like I said, she was the biggest advocate. Well, LaRon has something going for him too over here. LaRon was offered immunity to give information about Alexis, still claimed he knew nothing. So both of them have like decent things, one decent thing that makes them look kind of innocent. But it doesn't even compare to the list of things that makes them look guilty.
They offered him immunity again?
Yeah, like freaking again. Like, dude.
I mean, I guess they probably thought, well, he fessed up last time we offered him immunity. Maybe he'll fess up this time. We just want to find this girl.
So to add more to the confusion, like I said, there were dozens of reports from weeks to even years of people that claimed to see Alexis in various areas and different locations and stuff. You have all those kids that reported
I imagine
seeing
that probably
her at
happens
school.
Every time a kid goes missing.
Yeah, but you have people that saw her at school. There's kids that say they saw her after school. So there's one more theory, but it's literally so little, okay? And it never really developed, but there were multiple witnesses that say in the days leading up to Alexis's disappearance, and they even, I think the school even like took note of it, but there was like a red truck that was parked outside the school for like a few days, and no one ever saw who was in the truck, and it never picked any kids up or dropped anyone off, and the truck was never seen again after May 3rd.
That's weird.
So there's a third very small possibility that it could have just been a freaking stranger abduction, okay?
The FBI didn't think that, though.
No. Did you know the Jefferson House of Flowers has been a local Kokomo florist for almost 100 years? Our trained designers make beautiful arrangements for literally any occasion. You can send flowers for any reason. Birthdays, anniversaries, get well, congratulations. The list goes on. We make flowers for funerals, weddings, proposals, and even proms. Let's be honest. Receiving flowers, whether you're at home or at your work, it makes you feel special. You get butterflies and you feel loved, and that's what sending flowers is all about, the feeling that it creates. Call us at 765-452-8269 and let us create something special and send it out for you. Or you can stop in and see us at 4300 West, 100 North Kokomo. We always have a cooler full of flowers that are ready to go, as well as a boutique full of gifts. Shop local, support local, and send flowers. So many questions, so many holes in each story. I have no freaking clue. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
I was completely sold on the drug dealer thing.
In my head thinking like the list under like mom on the left, dad on the right, and you have a list of like all of the things. They're probably pretty similar on the amount of freaking things that make him each look guilty. The only thing I was thinking too, I was going to tell you my theory, and I say it's my theory, it's one of my theories, was if Alexis walked home and they said that the drug dealer visited the house that morning, what if Alexis walked home to get her cupcake and went in and like came in like on the drug dealer?
But
then it would still be the drug dealer taking her or doing something.
Here's what I don't like about it at all. Ayanna called the hospital at 9:37 is what you said, I think. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
So like if Ayanna
a.m.
went home, the drug dealer friend could have been there, but so was her mom.
Yeah.
So was LeBron probably. I don't know. I mean, he drove his kid to school.
But Alexis,
that's a weird story he has too about not driving him to school.
But the mom called the hospital at 9:37 a.m. But what about the 6th grade girl that talked to Ayanna or talked to Alexis at school for the cupcake?
To me, that tells me LeBron walked Alexis to school. I believe that. Alexis was at school on the property and decided to walk back home based on what the 6th grader said.
And then got hurt by her mom, and then she called the hospital.
I imagine if that happened, her mom would have been real mad that she came home.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or if the drug dealer friend was there when Ayanna got back, so would LeBron would have been there, or Ayanna.
Yeah.
So like even if they took her, the parents would know. They never said anything about that.
It's literally 50-50 here, y'all. We're dealing with some really bad drug people.
Based on all this, I believe that Ayanna left the school to go back home.
Yeah.
So she was either abducted within the 2 blocks to her house.
What are the odds that it wasn't the drug dealer dad and all of his crazy drug dealer friends, and it wasn't the crazy mom that may or may not have been abusive, and it was the red truck guy? There's no information on the red truck at all.
He would have had 2 blocks to snatch her.
Yeah.
Before she got home.
Yeah. What about the dogs hitting though?
That's that whole nother thing there.
See, the thing is, you can play I could argue and play devil's advocate and if I was an attorney or something, I'd be like, man, those dogs are so unreliable, and I would just give you freaking case after case after case where they screwed up and that you can't rely on them. But if I was a prosecutor, I would have case after case after case of where dogs were right, and dogs have found bodies left and right. And the bleach, why is there bleach all over your basement and in your trunk, ma'am?
Wild.
Also, why are you selling cocaine and owing cocaine dealers $80,000, and you have witnesses that heard more than one threat against your family?
Back to that. Like, whatever came of that. Like, okay, you had a group of men threatening you 2 days before, multiple witnesses, and then just nothing ever happened?
Also, what makes me mad, too, is like, so say the mom did it, like, the odds of getting rid of a body and it not being found, that's hard to do.
Unless you have,
a
bunch of drug dealer friends that do this for a living.
Some people really, yeah, maybe they all just came together to like help each other out of this situation. I don't know. But like to make a body you have to get very lucky, which makes me mad. A lot of killers do get lucky and make bodies disappear, and there's just no evidence left. And it's so hard to prosecute without a body. But like, wow. I mean, someone knows something. Someone knows what happened here.
Yeah,
something happened here. I don't know what it is.
This isn't that long. I mean, she would be 28 now.
Yeah. Yeah. So Alexis would be 28 years old now. Like I said, she has a scar under her right eye and a bump on her left pinky finger. If you or anyone you know might have information, they're asking you to call the sheriff's office tip line at 414-278-4921. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office has a reward for $10,000 that leads to finding Alexis either alive or even her remains. I mean, the FBI believes, like I said, this is on that list, those 43 cases. The FBI believes this case can be solved and that someone can be held responsible for this. So they know something. I believe that like they know more than what we have here to make it. To distinguish it between the other missing person cases. Right. So someone knows something. The FBI knows someone knows something. So tell us what you think. I will definitely have a post. We need a discussion board on this one because, like I said, it can go either way.
Yeah.
So right before we leave, drug dealer or mom or red truck?
Drug dealer.
Cody says drug dealer.
5 people talking about it in prison.
5 drug dealers. Come on. They'll say anything.
I'm just saying 5 people with a similar story. That's hard to do.
5 drug dealers that are currently in jail.
It's
though.
not like they all meet in the jail yard and are like, hey, guys, let's figure out how to make up a story about this girl that went missing.
No, I know. I don't know. Okay. I would have to say, I'm going to go with red truck because I truly don't freaking know.
Man, I mean, that's sketchy, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's super
And
sketchy.
especially sketchy enough that people at the school noticed and had taken note of the red truck.
Yeah.
Can't dismiss it.
No.
Someone knows.
Someone knows something. This podcast is a So.Will.I.Studos production. So will I.